So Republicans accusing the government of hiding a former IRS employee who worked under Lois Lerner during the targeting scandal. Where is that lawyer now? We'll find out.
That's not the way our system works. You have to answer the other side's questions. I think these questions are fair. The Tea Party's very dangerous. Dangerous to whom? Who, Miss Lerner? Who thinks they're dangerous? You?
Where will this story lead now? A top House Republican writing to the Justice Department demanding it hand over information on Andrew Strelka. He used to work under Lois Lerner, the former official at the center of the investigation of the targeting conservative groups. Congressman Jim Jordan wants information on Strelka, writing, quote, the department's efforts to prevent the committee from learning Mr. Strelka's whereabouts suggest the department has cause for keeping him from speaking with the committee, end quote. Cleta Mitchell is an attorney representing Tea Party groups targeted by the IRS. Good morning to you and welcome back.
Good morning, Bill.
Who's Strelka? Do you know who he is? Have you ever met him?
I've never met him, but interestingly enough, he was the first person I talked to from the IRS back in the spring of 2010. And he was the one, and working in the Washington office, not Cincinnati. And that's when I began to realize there was something going on at the IRS, because it was an application for a C4 status for a group that had been opposed to Obamacare. And we filed that application in October of 2009. We should have had that by the end of 2009, and we didn't hear anything until 2010, and he was the one.
He was your first contact to the IRS, but what was his job?
Well, at the time, he was an agent in the Washington office under Lois Lerner in the Exempt Organizations Division in Washington, not in Cincinnati, but Washington. And, you know, that organization didn't get its exempt status for another 3 years, until last summer, but, or a year ago this summer. But when I met with the Department of Justice investigators and the FBI, the criminal investigators back in February, I told them to find him because he was there at the beginning. They didn't tell me, and I didn't know until a few weeks ago, that he was at the Department of Justice. But let me tell you another interesting thing. When we looked for him after we met with the Department of Justice and the FBI back in February, he was at the White House counsel's office. That's where he was then. And then he went back to the Department of Justice and was representing one of the targeted groups, one of the pro-Israel groups. So he's right in the middle of everything, and now the Justice Department won't say where he is.
Well, where is he? I mean, there's Google. You can find him that way. Where is he hiding or what?
Well, he left, apparently, the Department of Justice just a few weeks ago, within the last few weeks. And the Department of Justice will neither tell Congressman Jordan or Congressman Issa where he is, but they've asked to interview him, and the Department of Justice says, well, we're going to represent him. And so they say, okay, fine, produce him. And they say, but he doesn't work for us. So they're trying to hide him, and I think for a good reason. He knows a lot. He knows a lot.
A letter obtained by the House committee looking at all this now. This was from an IRS manager at the time. Quote, in March of 2010, the time you just referred to, Strelka received an email from IRS manager Ronald Shoemaker directing him to be on the lookout for a Tea Party case. If you have received or do receive a case in the future involving an exemption for an organization having to do with Tea Party, let me know. Department of Justice says he's no longer an employee. It says we're already conducting our own active investigation. What would you say to that?
I would say that they need to produce him so that the congressional investigators can ask him questions, because that is what they're obligated to do. And if the Justice Department is representing him, they need to produce him. Normally, these employees get their own counsel, and the Department of Justice pays for it, but they have their own lawyers. But for some reason, they're not letting him appear and answer questions with the congressional investigators, and I think it's very worrisome.
We'll see when he turns up. You imagine he will at some point, and we'll see what happens then. Cleta Mitchell, thank you for your time. Out of Washington.
Thank you.